CB here at MBS Welding, and I want to show you what I think is the best setup that I've ever had for aluminum MIG welding. This is the Arc Captain MIG 205 MP. This is the one that's pulse capable. I've got 5356 aluminum wire in a 3/64 diameter, which is basically an 045. I've got the 045 Arc Captain drive roll installed and the Arc Captain graphene gun liner. And something I want you to see here is I've got that gun liner set where it's right up against the drive roll. Now, the steel liner in that part that you would normally use has to be removed. There's a little snap ring I took out and pulled it out. The other thing we're going to be testing here is another one of the brand new hoods that Arc Captain sent me. This is the X300. The difference between the X300 and the X200 that I had in my last video is this X300 actually has the side views I'm showing you here. You see how you can see through that little side view? For my use, I basically saw no benefit to that. It's interesting how they did that, but I didn't find any way that would benefit you with welding. The larger lens does benefit over a 4x2 lens at some times, but that side view, I saw no gain with that. So there's a couple things here that make this really what I think is the best MIG setup that I've had. One thing is, obviously, I'm not having to hold up a spool gun. I'm able to feed this through that graphene liner through the standard gun, and by doing that, it's a whole lot more comfortable than holding up the spool gun. Part of the way that this works as good as it does, it has to do with a couple of factors. One factor is this is a larger diameter of wire. The 045 wire is a lot better for this pushing operation than an 035. It's bigger, and bigger means it's going to be easier to push, and that's the problem with aluminum wire is hard to push. And that's the reason with 035 you pretty much got to have a spool gun to avoid problems. But this being 045, the diameter definitely helps. Another thing that helps is the type of wire. The 4043 wire is a softer wire than the 5356. And I'm running this 5356 because it's stiff. It makes it a lot easier to push. So the combination of it being a stiffer wire and it being a larger diameter, those are a couple of benefits that make it so that I'm not having any feeding trouble running these long welds on 1/8 inch aluminum. Normally it's pretty tough. You know, if you're running enough heat on 1/8 inch aluminum, it wants to burn through. Another big benefit with the Arc Captain MIG 205 MP is the pulse function. The pulse function gives you a high voltage, low voltage, high voltage, low voltage. It pulses from high to low. So you get the benefits of high voltage without the negatives of overheating the material. Because it goes low voltage every once in a while, it gives the material time to cool down. So let's go over what we're looking at. I've got it in 2T. That means you hold the trigger while you're welding. I've got it in pulse mode. I've got it in MIG mode. I'm set on aluminum MIG. I'm set on 045 wire, and I'm using the send function. Got 0.2 pre-flow and 2 seconds of post-flow. And that being adjustable on this machine is important on aluminum. You want that post-flow at the end. So once again, I'm going to say if you're ready to buy the one and done welding and cutting machine where you can MIG weld, stick weld, run a spool gun, TIG weld, have pulse MIG, have pulse TIG, have the plasma cutter function all in one machine, the Arc Captain 205 MP is it. The MIG 205 MP is kind of the one and done machine. I've done reviews on it. You can check out my content and you'll see it on jobs, and you'll see the reviews of it. If you want to buy an Arc Captain MIG 205 MP, in the description of my video, you'll see there's a link to the Arc Captain website. And if you buy from the website and use the promo code NBS Welding 5%, that's probably going to get you your best price. Those of you that like to buy from Amazon, I'll also include an Amazon link you can click on if you want to buy from Amazon and get your machine that way.